Ark-La-Tex Gazette. Derek, I've known you for a little while, but I don't think the whole world knows you. Well, City of Shreveport Bossier knows you at all. You have some that do, then you have some that don't. So
Right.
this is what this conversation is about. I just like to know, Derek. Just tell me first of all a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm rich. No, I'm just joking. uh, my name's Derek Edwards. I'm a truck driver. Thanks to some people I know at, I ain't gonna call the name of the company, Compassion for Lives. And I'm just an easy go, happy go lucky guy.
Well, I want to know, no, I want to know about Derek. You know, where did you grow up? Where are you from
Well,
in
I'm from
Shreveport?
Shreveport, Louisiana. I grew up in Greenwood Acres out there by Watertown. I went
Greenwood
to,
Acres. I never heard of Greenwood Acres.
yeah, it's the subdivision right there by where the water tower is,
Uh-huh.
coming in out of Texas. That little neighborhood right there on both sides of the interstate.
Okay.
That's Greenwood
Okay.
Acres.
Okay.
That's where I'm from. I went to Jack P. Timmons Elementary when I was young, where they changed it to
Really?
Timmons
Okay.
after I was there. I went to Walnut Hill, one of the first students that went in Turner. When Turner first got to Shreveport and they built that school,
Yeah.
we were the first students there. I went to Huntington High School, played a little football, you know. Thought I was
Okay.
pretty good.
Okay. And you have what, one daughter? Derek? How many
No,
kids?
I got 3 daughters.
Okay.
One of them should be 38 in May the 13th.
Okay.
That's my oldest daughter. Looks just like me.
Okay. And you said you were a truck driver.
Yes, ma'am.
So how long? When did you? Well, first of all, how did you even get in the field of driving trucks?
Actually, I got in the field of driving trucks just by trying to find something to do that would make me some okay money by me being, you know, a little up in the age. I didn't want to do nothing that was too physical,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't mind doing a little work also. And I had a guy friend that I knew that worked at this place called Compassion for Lives. And he was telling me, he told me, come up there and sign up, man, you know, this and that. So I came up there, and I met a young lady up there, her and her friend girl that was working in there, and they asked me if I wanted to go to school, and I told her yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we went from school, and she did all my paperwork and stuff like that. You might know her.
Okay.
And from that point on, I went to school. I've been doing that ever since.
And what year was that? When did you finish?
I think it was 21.
2021. You've been driving, and tell me, you know, since you've been driving, you know, what's a typical day like for you? You know, you're driving. What company are you driving for?
I'm driving for Fraley and Shilling. On a typical day, I start out maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to my shipper, get my stuff loaded onto my truck. Once I set up my racks and stuff that I'm gonna get loaded, once they tell me how many racks I'm gonna get, I set it up. They'll load it on. I take the next 30, 45 minutes to secure my load, close my kind of stove up. Then I'll drive for the next 10, 11 hours, all depending on how much I got. I can only drive for 11 hours a day. First 8 hours, I gotta take a 30-minute break. So all depending on how much time I got on my clock, I'll drive to the last hour of it, and then I'll find me some place to park, sleep for the night.
And what are you shipping exactly? You know,
Steel.
I try to steel.
Mhm.
Oh wow, that's a big industry right now too. So
Right.
you stay moving.
Stay moving.
So
yeah.
where are you going to? Like what cities and states are you? Are you just regional here, or you're?
You know, I'm over the road. I
You're
go
over
to
the road.
Wisconsin, New York, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, and everything in between.
Okay,
you know.
so since you're saying that, you drive me into thinking about something. What do you love about it? Is it the travel? Do you love that
Yeah, I
part?
love to travel. Yeah, I get away, and I love to be my own boss. I
Yeah.
don't really have to hear nothing from nobody. You know, as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, don't want to call me and ask me nothing about what I'm doing, and I like that.
Okay. And you've been driving for this company for how long?
I've been driving for them since October of last year, about 6
October.
months exactly.
I know you were somewhere else. You were.
Yeah, I was at
previously.
National Carriers. I went back over there for like a month. They didn't want to pay me right, you know.
Mhm.
After driving so long, you know, you figure like you should drive for a certain amount, you know. But I never quit a job before I have a job, you know.
That's smart.
You know,
Yeah.
I can't just get mad and say I'm gonna drive for this and then I'm gonna be driving for nothing, you know. But I worked for PN Transport for like a year and a half hauling water, salt water in a tanker truck That was local, well, but it paid good money though. But the industry is up and down with the water.
Right.
Oil field business. You know, you make good this month, but you need to save that money because you might not make that next month. You know?
Right, right. And now that you're talking about that, you're saying, what you didn't like about certain companies, what you did like, how the income was. What's the biggest challenges that you faced in the role of being a truck driver?
I think
I know
the biggest
everybody
challenge-
wants to be a truck driver. I mean, I think it comes from the independency. So,
Yeah,
what's
I
your
think
biggest challenge you've had so far?
staying awake.
Staying
You know,
awake.
that's about being a truck driver. As long as you're dedicated to your job, you're not gonna have to do anything really hard. You know, when you go in the truck stops, everybody knows y'all the truck drivers. Nobody's in there but you and other truck drivers. Everybody's kind of friendly because they're alone most of the time. So everybody wants to talk and converse with each other. But when you're in that truck by yourself, and the road gets long, you ain't got nothing to look at. Your body gotta condition itself to stay awake and make those miles because you gotta get to the next destination.
Yeah, because a lot of truck drivers, we see a lot of truck accidents now.
Yeah.
Do you think that comes from maybe some of the truck drivers being a little sleepy on the road?
Right,
What do
yeah.
you think's going on with us?
I think it's because they're sleeping. Because you can get bored real easy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to sleep at night, you still gonna get a little sleepy from time to time. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? But if you don't pull over, myself, I pull over, get out, play with my dog. You know what I'm saying? Let him run around for a little bit, and I get back in the truck and I keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't have a dog.
Yeah.
So some people just don't want to pull over and stand out, stretch, or walk around 5 or 10 minutes, get back in the truck. They'll keep on going, but you never know when you go to sleep. You just know when you wake up.
So that's one of your biggest challenges is just staying awake.
Just staying awake.
Are there any challenges talking about when you started working in the trucking company? I know the trucking companies are, it's always growing. Transportation business is growing always.
Uh-huh.
Did you find any challenges when you first started driving trucks?
Yeah, when I first started driving trucks, by me just coming out of school, the companies are not gonna give you what you really supposed to get. When I first got out of school, I drove for 38 cents a mile. It takes me 1,000 miles to make $380. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But you don't know what the other truckers are making. You're just not getting into the industry. So until you find out what's going on, which really, by that time, when you find out that they're messing over you, you'll put in some applications, and then that company might go, okay, well, I'll give you 10, 15 cents more, and try to eat you up. But then you get another company that say, well, you ain't got to worry about them. If you leave today, I'll give you 70 cents or 65 cents. They'll double what you're already making. So it's hard for you not to leave. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you're in it for the money, you might love the job, but you're in it for the money also.
Right. So your challenges, one of the challenges been just like getting those jobs that are better paying.
Right.
Maybe,
finding your niche, the company that'll treat you the way you want to be treated and pay you what you think you're worth.
Right. Tell me this, since you've been driving since I think 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been driving for different companies, you stated, and I know you have some achievements. I know you have some milestones in this time. Tell me, what's the milestone? What's the achievement that you feel like, since 2021, you've been driving trucks.
Right.
I'd love to know your milestone, where you feel like, this is it. I did the right stuff.
Right. I got one more left now, but like you probably know already, I was incarcerated for 21 years. Okay, so during those times of me being incarcerated, I'd always read books and see little videos about different cars and stuff, because I'm a car fanatic. And I always wanted that Scat Pack 392. I was just, I really wanted the Demon, but that car is just very expensive. That's a house on wheels, So the car that would be similar to that would be the 392 Scat Pack. And I said to myself, while I'm still incarcerated, I got 5, 6 years left before I even come up for parole, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it then, but that car is always in my mind. I'm always thinking about telling people like, man, hey, I'm gonna get that car one day. I'm gonna get that car one day. So I was working for National Carriage the first time. Had just got out of school. I'd been out of school maybe, I guess about a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was finna leave National Carriage and go to another company that paid me more money, which was Penn. So I go to the car lot. Now, I've never bought a car on my own, and I'm 54 years old.
Wow.
I've always gotten a car through my mother, or give her the money, she put in her name, stuff like
Right.
that. But me going signing papers and saying this is my car, I had never done that before.
Yeah.
So I'm in Texas. We're just sitting around, you know, the guy called me. Yeah. I said, what's going on? He said, man, where you at? I said, I'm at the zoo, man. Me and my folks up here, this and that. He said, man, I got a car, I want you to see, but I want you to buy me a bag of that cotton candy. My little girl loves that stuff. I said, okay, man. He said, well, get that cotton candy, might get you somewhere. I'm like, all right, but I'm thinking he's just joking. So I go to the car, I like to look at the car. When I drive up on the lot, I see the car that I really want. You know, I'm like, man, but I had never done this before, so in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna get it. But I'm gonna go see what he's talking about, you know. So when I go in there, the guy sees me with the cotton candy. He said, man, you Derek, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. He said, man, I was on the phone with you. I actually bring the cotton candy. You really brought it. I said, yes, sir. You asked me to bring it. He said, your little girl wanted it, so I bought it for her. Make a long story short, he takes me out there, takes me on a test drive in the car. I said, man, I really want this car right here, man. I said, well, I can tell you, I ain't never bought a car before. He said, what's your credit score look like? This and that, this and that. We're going to go in there. He said, but man, but the cotton candy, it's already got you in the door. Go eat with your family. I give a call in a minute. Before I can get to the restaurant, we was going to Genghis Grill where they put all your food in a little bowl and they cook it on a little hibachi grill for you. Before I could hand the man my food to get cooked, he asked me what was taking me so long to get back to the car lot. So I'm already heart beating like, why should I come back right now for, you know? I'm trying to be calm about it. He's like, you can come down here and see your car, man. You say you want your car note to be about $600 a month. He said, I got it at close to $7, but I think you can handle it, right? I said, yes, sir, I can handle that. So I go down there. He handed me the keys to the car. We signed some papers. And when I drove out that lot, man, I felt like I was on cloud nine.
You signed your first.
Signed my first car.
Your first financing for your
Right.
first car. That is a major milestone. It really is. Tell me something else. I'd like to know, what would you want people to know about your job, about truck driving, that you think people should know?
I think they should know that if you're dedicated to your job, you can make a real good living. But if you're not dedicated to your job and you're slacking, doing drugs, or not getting enough rest, or whatever, you can lose your job, you could hurt somebody, and you can kill yourself. Because these jobs are not, you know, they pay you a lot because you're responsible for a lot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The truck itself, 30,000 pounds, tractor and trailer. Then they go load you with another 40,000 pounds on the back of it, you know what I'm saying? So you rolling down the street, you really like a missile, it's 70-some thousand pounds, and you're the only one that's navigating. You got people that's gonna be out there drunk drivers, you got people that just on their phones, you got people that just get nervous and hit the brakes for no reason, you know, it's just, you got to be alert.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not gonna be alert and take your job, cause it's easy just to drive,
Right.
you know, but if you're not paying attention to what you're doing, you can really hurt somebody.
Yeah, that's a dangerous job. I would like to know, how do you stay motivated to, you know, every day get in that truck, drive? You told me that you did 21 years before incarcerated, and now you're out here driving for this company. Every morning, how do you stay motivated? How do you
Well,
keep moving?
for one, just being free, you know, God waking me up every day and I'm on top of the ground looking down, that's a motivation for me out the doors, first of all. Because every morning I wake up, I thank God to see another day. Okay. Two, I love my job. I like driving, you know what I'm saying? But I don't do the job just for the drive.
Right,
You know, I do the job for that check I get every week.
right.
You know, and that check I get every week is more money than I've ever made legally in my life.
That's
You know,
awesome.
and that motivates me. to
That's
keep
great.
going.
That's a blessing. You want anybody else to know out here in Ark-La-Tex anything else about Derek Edwards?
Yeah,
What
I'm
piece
hard
of
working.
advice do you have to for everybody else? Professional advice.
The professional advice I can give them is to always do your job right. Be safe when you do it. Be on time. Be early. Don't just be on time. Be early. And show people the respect that you want to
And what can you tell me of advice you could give to men? Because everybody I told you in the city of Shreveport, I'm seeing is it's that independence from that truck driving.
Uh-huh.
You know, especially for young men and even older men who have maybe formerly been incarcerated, doubt themselves. They don't know where to go, what to do. Just give them a word.
Hey, all you can do is first you gotta pray about it. You know, you gotta keep God first. And just like in my situation, I didn't know what I was gonna do when I got out here. But as long as you're trying, God will lead you into the right places to meet the right people. You know what I'm saying? Because like I met y'all. You know what I'm saying? I met a lot of people that helped me to get into where I am today. But I just met them. They never intended to see me. I never intended to see them. But God knew what He was doing. You know what I'm saying? So if you trust in God and allow Him to lead you in your path of life, you can't go wrong. Now it might be hard. I ain't saying it's gonna be easy, and every door that opens might not be the right door for you. But if you study things and check it out, try stuff, you'll find out what you need to do.
Okay. Well, thank you, Derek, for coming out and meeting with the Ark-La-Tex Gazette. We can't wait to share your story because it's a story that we feel like everyone should hear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.